Joining us for a conversation is Carlos Espinosa, the CEO of RooGold. Mr. Espinosa, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much, Marin, to have me here.
Well, it's a pleasure to be speaking with you today, to have you introduce us to RooGold, which is positioning itself as the new dominant player in the New South Wales of Australia. Before we deep dive into company specifics, Mr. Espinosa, please introduce us to RooGold and the exciting opportunity the company presents to shareholders.
Absolutely. RooGold is a junior exploration Canadian company. We are listed on CSE, and we are currently very attractive. We have a very attractive portfolio of assets in New South Wales. In Australia, we're very excited about it. We built this portfolio through acquisitions, and we currently have 14 high-grade potential gold and silver concessions. We have 10 gold concessions, 4 silver concessions. We used to say 13, but this morning we press release, we recently acquired a new concession, which is also exciting for us because it's a new concession that is located between 2 of our current properties. One is called Bralorne, and the other one is Gold Belt. So this new concession, it's like between 50 to 70 kilometers between the other 2 concessions, and looks like there's a mineralization continuity in the area. So we are excited to see that we are adding value to the area. We are basically building a district in the New South Wales.
Let's find out more. Mr. Espinosa, take us to Australia and share with us why RooGold is strategically focused on the New South Wales. Please acquaint us with the region, potential mineral endowment, and mining jurisdiction.
Absolutely. I'm going to start just mentioning a little bit about Australia as a country, because it's today is one of the most friendly mining jurisdictions worldwide. They offer excellent infrastructure. They have a well political, economic, and regulatory environment that it's inviting the mining industry to work there. From the COVID perspective, you see minimum restrictions, and we see a low risk for operational interruptions. So it's in a current environment we are living worldwide. Working in Australia, it's an asset. Talking specifically about New South Wales, we see a huge opportunity because it's an underexplored area in the country. It's the second gold producer state in Australia, but it's still underexplored. Just to give you an idea, the current gold endowment exceeds 100 million ounces of gold and 1 billion ounces of silver. So it's offering a great opportunity. It's just a very limited work done historically. So that's where we see the huge potential. Some small scale production shows grades of up to 1,600 grams per ton of silver and over 130 grams per ton of gold. So this is just on a small scale production, but we see it's the potential in the future. And the portfolio we are building has some proximity with some other mines that are already in operation that we see in the future some strategic advantages for us.
Well, the opportunity sounds quite intriguing. Let's go visit your property bank, which consists of 14 high-value gold and silver projects. But before we do, please walk us through the 4 key attributes that RooGold used to select each of your projects respectively.
Absolutely. First point, it's properties with a limited historic exploration. And why is that? Is because we see the huge upside on this area, and we are acquiring a very competitive price, and we can flip it into something very, very valuable. Deposit types are controlled by regional structures and contacts that allow us to have access to those properties, and those targets are underpinned and outlined by historic mining activity. And we see finally a high-grade precious metal mineralization in the area. So those are the 4 points we are we really focus on.
I have a map before us highlighting your property portfolio, which consists of approximately 1,400 square kilometers and 137 historic gold mines. Beginning with your high-value gold projects, please introduce us to your projects and the opportunity before us, beginning with the projects that you're currently conducting exploration work on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just to give you an idea, we have 10 properties covering a total of over 1,200 square kilometers. That includes 106 historic gold mines and prospects with a mineralized but relatively unexplored work in New England Orogenic Terrane and the other mineralized Lachlan Orogenic Belt. So mineralization is mostly on an orogenic type associated with a large-scale structure, making for a very attractive and large targets. There are 12 spine strike kilometers of the significant gold mineralized region, Bill Manning fault system. So just to give you one example of one of our properties, Lorne, it's 102 square kilometers, and we already have 28 historic gold mines and prospects, including the historic Golden Star mine. Up to 500 meters of underground working with a historic Marquis of Lorne mine that reports grades up to 15 grams of gold. So that's the type of work we are doing down there.
Moving on to silver, please introduce us to your high-value silver projects and which ones are RooGold actively conducting exploration work on.
Yeah. Well, on the silver side, we have 4 properties covering a total of 272 square kilometers. Again, we have historical gold, silver mines and prospects. We have, in this case, 31 historic silver mines with a relatively unexplored in the New England Orogenic Terrane. All the properties are largely unexplored since the early 90s, little to no drilling in almost any exploration, but the several styles of mineralization present, including intrusion-related vein stonework targets and low sulfidation epithermal types.
Well, Mr. Espinosa, I'm still smiling about the 15 grams of gold there. So do I. That's quite intriguing there. You know, you said it so calmly, but that's quite impressive. Multi-layered question. What is the next unanswered question for RooGold? When can we expect a response? And what do you determine success? And what can we expect as far as news flow?
Well, yeah, that's a good question, but it's a little work ahead of us. RooGold is a relatively new company. We build this portfolio through acquisitions, and we are currently in the process of signing land access on every property. So we currently have a couple of land access agreements in place with the Gold Belt and Gold Star properties, and we are continuing work with the rest of those assets. So we need to implement more land access for the other properties. We are start doing some chip samples, and we already sent some samples to the lab. Following will be some geophysics and eventually planning for a drilling program on the high target areas we find. But it's still, as I said, a lot of process, a lot of work ahead of us. So we will continue flowing the information to the market. Today we were happy to share the information about the acquisition. Probably in a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, we will have the first lab results for some of those chip samples. And in the meantime, we will try to continue signing agreements for the land access and getting more samples to allow us to better prepare our drilling program in the area.
Leaving the project site, let's discuss some important topics germane to your projects. Do you own your projects 100%?
Absolutely. We are very happy about that. We don't have any royalties or any other commitments. So we are very, very proud of that.
And just for the record, are you fully permitted?
I could say yes. with the exception of we are still in the process of getting the land access on some of the properties. So we are working on that part.
And speaking of that access, how is infrastructure?
Infrastructure is really good. And infrastructure is really good. The challenge we have in the last few months was the weather. We had a flood in the area that doesn't allow us to have access to the property. But it's something that happens once in the last 60 or 70 years in Australia. So, I mean, it's modern Earth that is dictating sometimes at times, right? But generally speaking, very good infrastructure. We don't have any issues, and we see an easy way to work there.
Is the ultimate goal to build a mine or arbitrage?
Still too early to have a firm position on this. But if you ask me, I love to build a mine, really. However, when we see the times, we definitely need to sit down and analyze what is the best for the company and for our shareholders. But the initial idea is to work having in mindset of building a mine.
We've discussed the good, let's address the bad. What can go wrong, and what are your action plans to mitigate that wrong?
Well, mining industry is really a risky business. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong. But really, let's say in our case, that we can find nothing on our properties, which is a really, really low probability on that. And the way we are doing to try to minimize this risk is actually getting this huge land package. And we are working on trying to identify which parts of all these properties have a higher potential for development. So in other words, probably we have several properties in the same area, but we have much or a larger portfolio than most of the junior companies in Canada. So what we believe is we are diversifying this risk, putting several properties, and eventually we need to decide either where we want to spend more time and money and where it's not worth it to spend that time and that money.
Switching gears, let's discuss the people responsible for increasing shareholder value. Mr. Espinosa, please introduce us to your board of directors and management team, and what skill sets do they bring to RooGold?
Absolutely. On the board, we currently are a small team on the board members. It's myself, Michael Singer, and Michael Mulberry. We are planning to expand this board. We're probably going to add one or two more members in a very near future, but for now, it's three of us. Michael Singer is an executive with extensive financial management, capital market experience, and corporate governance experience, mainly in the pharmaceutical and medical cannabis industries. But he's bringing really a lot of experience on the corporate governance, which is helping us to start building the right foundation for the company and have a strong foundation for the future of the growth of the company. On the other side, Michael Mulberry has over 30 years experience working in the public and private mining companies in Canada and overseas. So also great experience from Michael bringing to the company. In terms of the management, I'm also CEO, as you know, and we have Alexandra Bonner. Alexandra is our VP of Exploration. She's based in Australia. She's Australian with more than 15 years of exploration, mining, corporate development. She works in the precious metal, base metals, and so on. So she's bringing a lot of experience to the company, and it's very important to have someone like her down there, because she's actually leading the plans for the development and executing the exploration programs. Also, we have Mark Trump, who is our land manager and technical advisor. He's helping us mainly on the negotiation on the land access with the locals. And we have a strong advisors to the board and to the management. We have a Dr. Chris Wilson, who is a geologist with over 30 years experience. He has been working worldwide in several projects from exploration to production. We have Dr. Quinton Hennings, who, I mean, he doesn't need to have an introduction, but you know,
not at all.
Over 25 years experience. He leads teams for exploration in Newcrest and Newmont and so on. So it's amazing to have him with us. And also Kim Revington, he's also our technical advisor based in Australia. He has over 20 years experience in the mining industry as well. So it's adding a lot of value to the company.
Well, it seems like your team has a lot of commercial and exploration success. And speaking of that word success, a proven pedigree of success. I want to ask you about Carlos Espinosa. Who is he and what makes him qualified for the task at hand?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited and pleased to be here as a part of the team. I've been in the mining industry for over 12 years now. I am a former CEO of Monarca Minerals, which is another a Canadian company listed here on the TSX-V, and we had assets in Mexico, a company that has projects overseas, and also I was on the board of Monarca. I was on the board of Silverex Mining. I worked with another Argentine mining company in the process from being private to going public. So I had a quite good experience in the industry. Before that, I was working on the TSX and TSX Venture. My last position there, I was the head of global mining. So my role there was to recruit mining companies to go public in Canada. So my time in the TSX gave me very good exposure to Canadian capital markets and better understanding of how the mining industry and the Canadian capital markets merge in a very unique position worldwide. That is why Canada is leading on the mining industry and on the mining capital markets. So I combined this experience from being in a Canadian company on a mining company, and also to being part of the Canadian capital markets. Before that, I was more focused on the international business development. I'm originally from Mexico, and I have been doing international business for more than 25 years, probably. So I have a lot of experience also doing business overseas, learning different cultures, and dealing with working on remote locations.
Let's get into some numbers. Mr. Espinosa, please provide us with the capital structure for RooGold.
Absolutely. Share prices under very challenging market in the last few months. We are currently around 11 cents, and our shares, outstanding shares are 59 million. We have 100,000 options and 22 million of warrants outstanding. So the fully diluted, we have 82 million shares, and market cap is around 6.5 million, and currently we have 1.5 million in cash.
And full disclosure, I am a proud shareholder.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm happy to hear that.
All right, sir. And how much debt do we have?
We don't have really debt. We have just the current accounts payable, that it's on a normal operation, but nothing to concern.
All right. And what is your burn rate?
We are around, and it's a tough question, but actually, because we are doing some expenses that are unique, buying some equipment and this and that, but we are around 50 to 60,000 a month.
What percentage ownership does management have, and who are the major shareholders?
Well, on the management and directors, we have around 10% of the company. Probably 70% it's for institutional investors, and the rest is between retail and friends and family.
Are there any redundant assets on the books that we should know about?
No.
All right. Are there any change of control fees, and if yes, what is the compensation?
Yes, well, The answer is no. No. We don't have any fees. So that's I think that's great for the investors.
Oh, that's very complimentary, sir. Is management charging, a consultant fee for any services?
No. Right. We have our salary or the fee just for the role we're hired, but that's it. Nothing else.
In closing, sir, what keeps you up at night that we don't know about?
Well, I think it's something that keeps awake a lot of people, which is market conditions, macroeconomics, and geopolitical situation globally, because it's hard to build a midterm or long-term plans when the market conditions are changing on a regular basis. So every day and every night I'm thinking, what can we do better, or how we can avoid any risks? But I mean, it's not easy to answer because every morning you find something new on the news, right? But it's what it is. At least I feel comfortable that we are in a very safe jurisdiction, and we have a great team, and we are we have in our hands a really nice land package that we can develop in the future.
What would you like to say to shareholders?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank them for investing in RooGold. We are happy to have you with us. We have skin in the game, so we are together on this. And really what I want to ask investors is to stay connected and be a little bit patient, because this part of the work we are doing today is not really fancy, let's say, or doesn't show like a lot of progress, but it's the foundation. Basically, getting those permits for the land access will allow us to go and move faster to the following phases, and the news and the progress and the good news will come in the future. So we are working for you, we're working with you, and just ask you to be a little patient. I really thank you for choosing RooGold as part of your portfolio.
Last question, what did I forget to ask?
I think it was a very good conversation, but probably what you forgot to ask, or you didn't ask, it's what's going to happen next when we got this land access. And what we are having planning is really to get chip samples. We already had some, but it's going to be a large number of chip samples for different regions that allow us to have better information of the properties. We're going to do some geophysics, identify those hot targets, and then going to start drilling those targets. Because as I mentioned earlier on this conversation, it's really unexplored region. In the whole land package that we have, there's only 28 drill holes historically. So it's a lot of work to do ahead, and that's where we are going to. So we are planning to move forward for the drilling program in the months ahead.
Mr. Espinosa, for someone that wants to learn more about RooGold, please share the contact details.
Yeah, absolutely. It's RooGoldInc.com.
Mr. Espinosa, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Wishing you and RooGold the absolute best, sir.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.